Welcome to this special BelgianGP edition of cconmotorsport. Today we'll be conducting a top speed test through Sector 1 of the Spa-Francorchamps circuit in Belgium to see which of the F1 2017 cars is the fastest at the 100-metre braking board. In position 10 is the McLaren Honda MP4-30. Now it should come as no surprise to anyone who follows the current Formula 1 season that the McLaren Honda finds itself at the bottom of our leaderboard. The first sector here at Spa-Francorchamps is extremely unforgiving for underpowered cars, so the only real question today for the McLaren Honda MP4-30 is just how bad will it be? So as we go through Eau Rouge, onto the Kemmel Straight, through the DRS zone, but I won't be activating DRS today just to keep the results of this test valid. My reaction times will vary slightly from lap to lap. And there we have it, 307 for the McLaren Honda MP4-30. Next up in position number 9 is the Sauber C36. The Sauber C36 is powered by Ferrari. Now as a Ferrari customer team, this is actually last year's Ferrari power unit, the 2016 spec, in the back of the Sauber C36. Unlike Mercedes and Renault, Ferrari refused to give customer teams the current spec F1 engine just to ensure that they're not too competitive against the works team. Coming to the end of the Kemmel Straight, approaching the 100-metre board, and there it is, 313 km an hour for the Sauber C36. Tied for position 7, we have the Scuderia Toro Rosso STR12. Coming into turn 1, you want to make sure you stay nice and wide, stay as far left as possible, and then get the car straightened up and get back on the power as quickly and smoothly as possible to carry as much speed into Eau Rouge as you can. Coming into Eau Rouge, you want to clip the inside curb with your left front tyre, then across the right, carry the maximum speed onto the Kemmel Straight, and it will pay dividends at the end. Now Toro Rosso were previously powered by Ferrari, but this year they've actually decided to make the switch to Renault power, which puts them on par with the sister team Red Bull Racing. 315 km an hour for the Scuderia Toro Rosso STR12. Next up on our list and tied at position 7 is the Red Bull Racing RB13. For those of you who follow me on Twitter, you would already know that I announced recently I'll be driving for Scuderia Toro Rosso in my career mode, with the ultimate aim to join Daniel Ricciardo at Red Bull Racing. So for me this test is really telling. It tells me that for my resource points, I'm definitely going to have to devote quite a few of those to power unit. Comparing the two cars side by side, the RB13 definitely feels more planted, so that tells me it's much more aero efficient than the Toro Rosso. But still, with an equal top speed, it makes me really hopeful that I can achieve some good results very early on in my career. Next up in position 6, and this was a big surprise for me, is the Scuderia Ferrari SF70H. In the F1 gaming community, it's pretty widely accepted at this point that the Ferrari is faster in the corners, whereas the Mercedes has the better top speed on the straights. So clearly the Ferrari is producing a little bit more downforce than the Mercedes, which makes it much more suited to a high downforce circuit, and not for the first sector of Spa-Francorchamps, which is all about horsepower. I was more than a little surprised to see the Ferrari this far down the leaderboard, especially considering that we haven't yet seen the works Renault. And there it is, 317 km an hour for the works Ferrari. Tied for position number 4 is the works Renault RS17. I have to say, I really like the Renault livery these last few years since they went back to the yellow and black. It looks great and really helps them stand out from the other cars on the field. At the beginning of this test, I never would have imagined that the works Renault would beat the works Ferrari. Clearly the Renault is not producing as much downforce, which would also explain how they're faster than the Scuderia Toro Rosso and Red Bull Racing cars, which carry the same 2017 spec Renault F1 power unit. As we reach the 100-metre board, there we have it, 318 km an hour for the works Renault RS17. Taking out the 4th spot, and the first of our Mercedes powered runners, is the Haas F1 Team VF17. Just as nobody's surprised to see the McLaren at the bottom of this leaderboard, equally no one is surprised to see the Mercedes powered teams taking up the top 4 spots. Coming through Eau Rouge and onto the Kemmel Straight, I'm interested to see just how much top speed the Mercedes powered Haas can produce. Every kilometre an hour you carry through the top of Eau Rouge onto the Kemmel Straight will pay dividends at the other end. And there it is, 318 km an hour for the Haas F1 Team VF17. At the top of our leaderboard, it's a 3-way tie for the first position. First up, we have the Williams FW40. It's a shame we couldn't get the full Martini livery on this car. It looks fantastic in real life, but just like with the classic F1 cars, the old Ferraris with their Marlboro sponsorship, Codemasters wouldn't be able to achieve the PEGI 3 rating if they were to include alcohol and tobacco sponsors. onto the Kemmel Straight. Approaching the 100 meter board, but I'm not going to reveal the top speed just yet. Up next at the top of our leaderboard, it's the Force India VJ M10. A very different look for the Force India this year, going with an all pink livery. Certainly something I've not seen in Formula 1 since I started watching back in 2003, but generally it's been well received, and despite initial criticisms, I think people have really come to like it. And then there was one. Finally, taking out the top spot in this top speed test in Sector 1 at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium is the Mercedes AMG Petronas W07 Hybrid. Now in this top speed test I was really surprised to see quite a few ties at certain positions, including a three-way tie for the top spot. So in the end, the way I decided to separate these cars was in the order of their current standings in the 2017 Constructors' Championship, which is why Mercedes gets the top spot. Approaching the 100 meter board for the last time, and there we have it, 322 kilometers an hour for the Mercedes AMG Petronas W07 Hybrid, the top speed reached by any of the cars on our high speed test at Spa-Francorchamps in Belgium. Well, that's it for today guys, thanks for watching. Leave a like if you enjoyed the video, leave a comment down below, let me know what you thought about this top speed test, as well as your thoughts on last night's BelgianGP. Follow me on Twitter at twitter.com/cconmotorsport to stay up to speed with the channel, as well as all the latest in racing, gaming and Australian motorsport. Well, that's it from me for today guys, thanks for watching, I'll see you in the next one.